Okay, so I'm back with systems of equations, and we're looking at now graphing in standard form. You just finished up graphing in slope-intercept form, and so hopefully that went well. Now again, remember with standard form, one of the things that you can do is find your x and intercept and your y-intercept, okay? And I'm going to add one extra step to that in just a minute. But remember, if you've got your x-intercept, that is where your y is 0. And your y-intercept is where x is 0. So I'm going to go ahead and get each one of these set up ready to go. Okay? And I might actually do those in 2 different colors just so you can, and we'll do this one in blue. Okay? So we'll go back to the green, and again, we're going to use the cover-up method. So we're going to start with that if y is 0, then that becomes gone. It's eliminated. So I'm left with x equals 3. Okay? Then if I let my x be 0, I'm going to need to divide both sides by a -3, so I get a -1. Okay? Now, the next thing that I'm going to add in that I think you should learn is that your slope is actually a -a over b. And remember, in slope-intercept, your a is the number in front of your x and your b is your number in front of your y. So the opposite of a would be 1 in this case, and b is a -3, so that would be 1/3. So it means I have a slope of 1/3. So I'm going to graph everything that I know there. So I have 3, 0. I have 0, -1. I have a slope of 1/3, and if you look at this, I do have a slope of 1/3. So I could do down 1 and right 3 and get me another point just so that I have enough points on there. And when you're doing systems, sometimes you need to do that. You need to have extra points because you do need to make sure your line is straight. So that's why we have to for sure use rulers here. Okay, so I'm going to try to get mine as straight as I can. That did not work very well. Let me try that again. Nope, one more time. For some reason my lead does not want to curve. Okay, we're going to put it there and see if we can do okay. Now let's go ahead and do the second one. Again, if x is, or if y is 0, that's gone. So I would divide both sides by 2, and that's going to give me a -2. Okay. If I let my x be 0, then that is eliminated. I'm going to need to divide both sides by a -1, and that's going to give me a 4. If I do a -a over b, okay, that would be a -2, and my b is a -1, which means my slope is 2. Again, you don't necessarily need that all the time, but we might. So let's go ahead and put in a -2, 0, 0, 4. And again, my slope is 2, so I could go ahead and do a slope. You know, if I go up 2, right 1, that would give me a point there. If I go down, I'm going to right there. And so again, we can already see where these 2 lines are going to hit. That one I was able to draw straight. Okay? So they do hit right here at this point. That is the answer to my problem then. So my answer would be a -3, -2. Okay? And again, I could go back in and check to make sure that that is true. Okay, I'm going to do one more for you. So again, I'm going to do my zeros. So if my y is 0, whoops, put that in the right color, make it darker. Okay, if my y is 0, that disappears. In this case, I would divide both sides by 3, so I'm going to get a negative 2/3. And then if I let my x be 0, that'll eliminate, and I see that I have y as a negative 2. Now, this is again one of those that I might want to do my slope in, because my slope again is a negative a over b. Again, this is a, this is b, and my slope is a negative a over b. Okay? The reason being, because when I come and I do this, my negative 2/3 is going to be somewhere here. Okay, my 0, negative 2 is here. And sometimes if I don't have enough distance between those 2 points, it's hard to draw my line. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a slope of a negative 3. Down 3, right 1. And I'm also going to do a slope of a negative 3 from my y-intercept. So up 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then that's also going to make it a lot easier when I go to draw my line. Okay? Now I'm going to do my second equation. So again, if I let my y be 0, I see that x is 6. If my x is 0, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, so that's going to give me 3. Okay, and again, my slope would be a negative a, so a negative 1 over 2, negative 1/2. Okay, so I've got 6, 0, and this is where, again, it might be helpful to have my slope, because when I go to do 6, 0, it's technically, whoops, off my graph. Okay, it would be over here somewhere. And then 0, 3 is right there. Whoops, it doesn't like me drawing points with this. You see that? And then, so again, using my slope might be helpful. So down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, so forth. And so I could also go up and left, which again helps you to see that you're actually going to hit at that point right there. Okay? So my answer is going to be a negative 2 and 4. Okay, so there's 2 in standard form. Again, I strongly suggest that you remember and write down somewhere that your slope is a negative a over b, so it's the opposite of whatever your a is, over your b. Remember, your a is in front of your x and your b is in front of your y. That's going to help you do slope real quick. Now, if you don't want to do that and it's not working the way you have it, you can always solve it for y equals mx plus b and see if that's easier to graph. So there is other options, again, other than doing just the zeros. Okay, we'll have fun on those, and we'll see you in a minute.